So
Okay.
what is database role or server role, fixed server role? So there are two types of roles available: instance level roles and database level roles. So instance level roles, we call them as a fixed server roles. Fixed server roles. So what are they? So BD square, okay, DS4, right? I think BD square PS4. So disk admin, bulk admin, okay, process admin, security admin, sysadmin, there are fixed server roles.
Okay.
These are considered as a server level roles. Now let's come to database role. Database role is related to inside database.
Inside
Okay,
database.
so inside database. So you can have set of roles here. Let me show you. Go to any database, security, roles. These are the roles.
Okay.
So access admin, data reader, data writer, data reader, data writer, deny data reader, deny data writer, DB owner. So these are some roles. Okay. So each role is a set of group of permissions. For example, in reader, so you'll get select permission. In writer, you'll get insert, update, delete permission.
Right.
Okay. So in this way, DB owner contains everything. Like here, sysadmin is the ultimate thing under service level, server level. So in the same way, DB owner is the ultimate user in database level.
Okay.
Okay. Deny data reader means, so it will reject select. So wherever select is, select permission is there, it will deny the select.
It will reject it.
Okay. So then, like this, DDL admin is there, access admin is there, backup operator is there, security admin is there. So all these roles are set of permissions. For example, if you want a user, if you want to grant a user a reader permission, so you'll go to that user, user one. Then you'll go to membership. So you'll assign data reader. This is how you can assign database roles to user. Actually, this is not correct word. Correct word is we will add users to roles. Role is bigger than user.
Yes.
Okay. So role
So
is
we'll go
bigger
to
than
user,
user.
and then
Yes.
where we
Yes.
have go, where we went.
See, let me add a user to any role. For example, I want to add user one to data reader.
Okay.
Open this database role, then go to okay. So here, this is DBA owner, fine. Add member. So browse the members, user one. So click OK, click OK. Now to the database reader, data reader role, user one is added. How can you see that? You can see it to multiple ways. One way is, so open this role, you can see members list. And one more thing, open user, go to membership, you can see here data reader. So now a new employee joined in my company. Okay, I want to give him only insert permission. Otherwise, insert permission. So if I want to give him insert permission, first he need to see the table list, right? So I need to provide select permission also. These two permissions I want to give him. For example, Gaurav has joined as a new employee. So Hari is the sysadmin. Hari wants to provide two permissions: select permission, insert permission to Gaurav.
Okay, read, write both.
Read, and this is not right. This is only insert. because we
Okay.
can write means we can use update also.
Update, delete, both.
Okay. So if I allot him, if I assign Gaurav reader permission, you will get only select, right?
Right.
If I
Right.
assign you writer permission,
Mm-hmm.
along with insert, you will get update and delete also.
Correct.
But I don't want to give you update and delete permissions.
Mm.
How can I do that? How can I give only select and insert permission?
So for means that deny, you told not deny data reader and deny data
No, no.
writer.
If you
No, like
update deny
insert,
data
but insert
writer,
will not go reader. Yeah, right,
yeah,
right, right.
yes, he will deny all these three permissions.
Mm-hmm.
There is two ways. One way is you can individually grant permissions. How? Click on that user, go to
Mm-hmm.
securables,
Okay,
search
yeah.
on securables, all
Mm-hmm.
objects, click here, databases, click
Mm-hmm.
OK. Under database,
From here.
you can select, you can provide whatever permission you want. I
Insert.
want to give him insert
Insert.
permission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then where is select?
Oh, select.
Here
Yeah,
it
here.
is.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one way. So
Okay.
individually I can grant permissions, but I
Mm-hmm.
have 100 users, otherwise
Ah.
1000 users.
Mm-hmm.
For each user, I cannot go and cannot give all these
Individually, we
permission
can't do.
individually, right?
Right, right.
So for this purpose, whatever permissions you want. So
Mm-hmm.
by mixing set of permissions, you can create a custom database role. Okay. So individually giving permissions is not good practice. Good practice is, so you can create a custom database role. How can you create? Click on this database role, right click, new database role. My role name is reader. Otherwise select role, select, insert. So I'll give any name. That is my choice. So what I will give? So securables, search, objects, click on OK, databases, click on OK. Now I'll add. So at least I need connect permission, right? First connect permission I'll provide.
Yes.
Then come to insert permission, come to select and insert both. Just a minute, grant failed permission test.
Till database connection is not.
Alter any connection. Okay. So we have given connect permission here, right? Already user has connect permission. That is why the issue came. It's okay. Search instead of connect permissions. So we will give only select and insert.
But two more
Connect
we have
is,
to give.
yeah. So maybe we have given some other additional type of permission. That is why it is showing as like that. So let me choose insert first. There is insert, select, okay, insert, insert. Click on OK. Yeah.
Okay.
So now, whenever I add a user to this role, that person will get only custom roles. What is the custom role we want to give? Select and
Insert
insert.
and select.
So he will get only select and insert. Let me go to this role, click on add members, browse users. So user 2, if I add, he can have only select and insert. In the same way, instance level also. So this is security. These are server roles. You have multiple roles, right? So you can create your own server role. That is customized server role. So my custom server role.
Harish, I think Sindhuja has pinged in the group.
Okay, it's okay. Not an issue. Let it be. So this is my custom role. So what do you want to control here? You want to control logins or servers? What you want to control? For example, I want to control logins. Click on logins.
Okay.
Okay. So all logins. Otherwise, whatever login you want, you can select that. So let me take servers. So I'll take this 34 server. Under this server, I am granting him alter any login permission and control server permission and create login permission. Click on OK. Now, one custom role. Okay. So she's unable to connect.
Okay.
I'll share one more link.
Or you can add from here also, not?
I think she's not a registered user here. So we will create Teams account. Then we can do that.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Okay. So Sindhu, we are discussing about custom roles. So what I told is, so what we were discussing is, so database role is a set of permission. Database role. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we already discussed this in class 4 or 5. Go and refer previous batch classes. So not this batch, previous classes. That is security part 1. So for example, if you open SSMS, go to open database, any database. So I open this database, go to security. Under security, go to roles. Under roles, database role. So if you select any data, any role, for example, data reader. So data reader means you will have select permission. Only select permission. How can you know that? We have a command for that. Let me open that. Security part 1. Where is it? This one. So this is the command. So data reader, right? Let me take data reader. Execute this. So which permission this role has? Data reader role has? Which permission is it?
Select.
Select permission. So now let me check with data writer. This is data writer. Execute this. So we have insert and update and delete. So if we add any user to this role, for example, data writer, open this role, add member, browse. This is the user list. I'll add user 3, click on OK. So then whatever the roles he has, whatever the permission, insert, update, delete, 3 permissions will get by this user 4. Because we have added user 4 to data writer. If you add user data writer, sorry, if you add user 4 to data reader, he'll get select permission. Okay, so first data reader contains select permission, data writer contains these 3. So my thing is, so whenever a new employee, for example, Gaurav recently joined with our company, I want to give him select and insert, only these 2 permissions. Okay, so how can we provide only selected permissions? There are two ways. For example, if I assign him reader and writer both, he'll get select also, insert also. Additionally, he'll get update delete also. Sindhu, are you following?
Yeah, sir.
So I don't want to give him update and delete. I just want to give him only these two permissions. How can we do that? So we can do this in two ways. First way is go to users, open that user, go to securables, select which is the securable you want to provide permission. I'm selecting databases. Under database, so I'll choose insert and select. These two I want to give him, right? Click on OK. This way we can provide only selected permissions, specific permissions. But if you have multiple users, that may be time-taking work. To minimize the ease of doing, to minimize the work, what we can do is, with these two permissions, we can create our own custom role. So let me show you how to create. Go to database role, right click, new database role. So this is my custom database role. In this role, I'll choose under securables, go and choose databases. So what is the permission I want to provide? Select and insert, click on OK. So now this is customized role. If you add any user to this role, how to add? Add, click on add, browse, user one. That's it. Click on OK, click on OK. So that user one will get only select and insert permission. Whatever we want, he will get those permissions. This is called customized database role. In the same way, instance level also we can provide customized server role. For example, go to instance level, go to security, server roles. So we have multiple roles from here to here. These are main roles. But these are cloud related roles. Wherever you see double hash, this is not related to on-prem SQL server. These are related to cloud related roles. Forget about these roles. Remember these roles. How to remember? I already given a formula to remember this. So formula is server role BD square PS4. BD square means bulk admin, disk admin, DB creator. P means process admin. S4 means security admin, setup admin, server admin, sysadmin. So each server role is a set of permission. Is it clear?
Yeah,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So now I want to create my own custom role. I'll create a new role. Instead of going to securables, okay, I can go to servers, click on server, click on OK. So instead of going to one by one securables, I mean permissions to the server, I can go to members, memberships. So multiple roles I can add to one role. For example, this is a new role. I am creating a new server role. Already setup admin is a role. I'll add this role to this new role and process admin and disk admin. So in one server role, I am adding another 3 server roles. This is my wish. So whatever I want to create, I can create on my own role. So what is role? Role is set of permissions. That's it. So if I add any login to this role, so he will get all 3 roles. What are the 3 roles? Whatever it contains. So it contains disk admin, process admin, and setup admin. Any doubts?
No, no.
Okay,
No,
this
sir.
is about customized database and server roles. Now let's come to schema. Very important topic. So this is total computer. In this computer, we have SQL Server here. So if you want to enter into SQL Server, if you want to enter into this is SQL Server. If you want to enter into SQL Server, first thing is you need to connect to computer. If you want to connect to computer, you should have a login in that computer. So you should have a Windows login, domain login or group login, anything. So with the help of login, you will enter into this computer. After that, you will connect to SQL Server using Windows authentication or SQL authentication. This is the procedure. Otherwise, we can do like this. We can skip Windows level entry. Already somebody entered. So using SQL authentication, you can connect to SQL Server. This is one more way. So after connecting SQL Server, so login is compulsory. Without login, you cannot connect to SQL Server. Even though you have login, user is compulsory. Without user, you cannot enter into database. This is database. Okay. So in this database, you have multiple objects. Objects means anything like table, view. What is view? I'll tell you later. Function, procedure, any XML type procedure. So everything is a object here. If you see this, if you observe this, you can see a structure here. What is this structure? All the objects are stored under schema. So computer, under computer, we have SQL Server. Under SQL Server, we have databases. So this is one database, second database, third database, fourth database. So under database, we have schemas. Under schema, we have objects. Schema is not physical thing actually. Schema is a logical container. What is schema? Schema is a logical container that can use it to classify tables. Okay. Let me create a database. So create database. Database name is Sindhu DB. Execute. So use this database. So I am entering into Sindhu database. Done. So right now I am under Sindhu database. Now I am creating a table. How to create table? Create table. So create table syntax like this. Create table, table name. Table name is test. Okay. Then open bracket. Then column number 1. Column number 1 is so ID. So column number 1 ID. What is the data type of ID? So ID in the ID. So what is the data type you want to store? I want to store numbers. ID is only numbers, right? So I am providing data type as a integers, comma, second column name. Second column name is name. So under name, I use characters, right? So char, how many characters you can use? For example, I am assuming there might be 20 characters, comma, location. So location also characters, right? Characters. I'm assuming 20 would be sufficient for a location. So then close this bracket. This is the syntax to create a table. Let me create this table. I created this. Refresh this. Go to Sindhu database. Sindhu database. Sindhu. Okay, open this. So here go to tables. So test table we have, right? So whenever we created Sindhu table, Sindhu database, we created test table, but we have not created table 2. How did it came? Any guess? Gauravji, you can say this answer.
No origin.
See, we discussed this. Whenever you create tables in model database, so whenever you create a new database will take all settings from model database.
Model.
Since
Yeah,
we
right.
created table 2 in the model, so whenever you create a new database, automatically that table appears in the new database. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So every new database mimic the settings of model database. Okay, so let me delete this table from here. I deleted. Now create one more database. So what are the existing DB1, right? So I'll create new database, that is DB2. So DB3, okay. DB2 we already have. Open this, you can't find any tables because we deleted the table in the model database. Okay, now let's come to topic. We are deviating from main topic. So this is test table, right? So let me drag this to here. You are seeing only table name. I am seeing one more name before table. Now read it. Can you read this?
Yeah, it's DBO test
DBO.test.
dot test.
Whatever you are mentioning here, that is a schema. So whenever you are creating a table or whenever you are using a table, if you don't mention anything, did I mention anything here? I
No,
mentioned only test. If you
test.
don't mention
Testing.
anything, by default, it will take DBO schema. So the table is created under by default schema. By default schema is called DBO. For example, if you want to read the table, select star from test, you use select star from test. So there is no data in it. Let me insert data, insert into test. Test is the table name, insert into table name. Values, what are the values you are going to insert? ID is 1, name is Hari,
Location.
location is Bangalore. Then ID 2, name is Gaurav, location is, let me give Delhi. Execute this. Okay, we need to provide comma here. So if you make any mistake, it will show you error. So error, it is showing error, right? So once you find out and fix the error, it won't show anything. So execute this. Use select star from test. Select star from test means you are reading all the columns in the table. So there are 2 rows in it. So whenever you are inserting, you didn't mention any schema. So you just mention table name. Whenever you are reading also, you didn't mention anything. So by default, it takes DBO as a schema. Okay, so this is schema name. Any doubts here?
Same late, sir.
Okay. So if you open a sample database, let me download a sample database. Download sample database for MS SQL. Adventure works. Download backup file also, you can do that. Okay. Adventure works 2022 OLTP. Data warehouse lightweight. I'll download lightweight. Open this. Copy this file. Place it somewhere reliable. Okay, downloads, let it be. So this process we will discuss later. Don't think about this too much. I am restoring a database. So I downloaded a database, right? Go to device. So still we haven't discussed this procedure. Okay. So instead of downloads, I'll change this location. Copy C drive. Let me take it to media. Done. Device, add C drive, media. Where is media? This file. Click on OK. Files, relocate. Click on OK. Done. So just now what I have done is I restored a sample database, real-time database. Open this database, go to tables. So you can see schema of the table, sales schema. So this is lightweight database. That is why you are seeing only sales schema. So if you download full database, you can see product schema also, HR schema also, multiple schemas.
Mm.
So this differentiates the table. So the tables, if you want to classify the tables, if you want to group the tables, you can use schema. So whatever the tables you are seeing under sales schema, those related to sales tables. Like that, you can classify that. Is it clear?
Sir.
Okay. So what are these schemas? How many by default schemas will be there? So how many users if I create a database, let me create a database. So I'm creating database. How to create database? Use master data. Okay, fine. Create database. Database name DB500. 500 already there. Okay, DB1000. Execute this. Go to DB1000. Refresh this. DB1000, right? Open this. So go to user security, users. How many default users are there? How many users are there?
4.
So each user will have his own schema. So how many by default schemas would be there?
4 are there.
Four schemas for users. And how many database roles are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Public is not a main role. So this is just connect permission. So 9 roles are there. Each role contains one schema. So 9 plus 4 by default 13 schemas. By default schemas would be there. Open schemas. So this is user, this is role. Go to schemas, open this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 schemas would be there. Okay, so each user contain its own schema. This is the structure for any other RDBMS also. Generally, Oracle databases, SQL anywhere, all these users strictly follow this scenario. Whenever a user created, so they will create its own schema also. But in Microsoft SQL Server, we don't follow that strictly rule. So we place according to our classification. So we can rename as per our wish. So for example, I have 5 departments in my company. One is sales, another is HR, finance, okay, marketing. So I can create own schema for all sales related. I'll place under sales schema. All HR related tables I'll place under HR schema. Like that, you can create your schema. How to create a schema? Right click on schema, click on new schema, provide any name. For example, I am giving Gaurav. Gaurav is a schema. So instead of clicking OK, I'm clicking script it out. Simple command, create schema, schema name. That's it. Okay, so let me create this, execute. I am creating it in master database. I should create it in new database, whatever I have created, right? Sindhuja DB, let me take that, Sindhu DB. So now execute this, okay. Let me create a user also. We don't have any user and security, users. Okay, we don't have any user. I'll create a user. Okay. So before creating user, I'll create another schema that is Sindhu. Execute this. So now I am creating a user and login. Create login. So use master. Whenever you create a login, it should be in master database. Create login. Login name is Gaurav. Okay. With password equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you have login in this instance? Let me check. Gaurav has login. Let me delete this. Okay. So We already have Gaurav login. We use the existing one because there is another way to delete this. Directly, you cannot delete like that. We will discuss soon how to delete a login. So we already have login, and let me create use Sindhu DB. So I'm creating user. How to create user? Create user. Username is Gaurav. For login, Gaurav. This is one thing. In the same way, I create Sindhu user also. Create master. Username is Sindhu. And create user. Username is Sindhu. And for login name is Sindhu. Done. So already we have login. I am just executing this one. Execute this. Done. So login, execute, done. User, execute, done. So now under Sindhu database, what are the users list? We have Gaurav user, we have Sindhu user. In the same way, we have two schemas also, right? What are the schemas we created recently?
One is Gaurav. And another is
Okay. So let me delete all the permissions Gaurav has. I'll go to security level.
Mhm.
Does Gaurav have any permissions? Roles? Yes, he has multiple roles. I am deleting multiple roles. Okay. Securables? No, nothing. Click on OK. So now clearly listen what I am telling. We have two logins. Login one is Gaurav. Login two is Sindhu. Does Gaurav have any permissions on instance level?
No.
No permissions at instance level. He cannot do anything. Does Gaurav have any user level permissions at database level? Just we created database user, right? We didn't create any permissions. Let me go to user, open Gaurav. Owned schemas, no, nothing. Members, is he member of any database role?
No.
Is he have any permissions? No. So database level, no permissions. At database level. Same thing with Sindhu. So now what I will do is, I'll make him owner of the Gaurav schema. So I created user. So with the username, I created a schema. Let me change schema owner, Gaurav schema. I'll make schema owner as a Gaurav instead of DBO. Gaurav. Click on OK. So now schema, who is the schema owner for Gaurav? For schema Gaurav, Gaurav is the schema owner. Is it clear? Do you have any doubts? Are you getting any confusion?
అవును సార్. ప్రీవియస్‌గా మళ్ళీ
Okay.
దీనికి ముందు ఒకసారి చెప్పండి.
Forget about everything. Forget about everything. I am creating a fresh database. I'll do it from the scratch. So I'm creating a new database. Create database. Database name is Schema DB. Execute this. Use Schema DB. Execute this. We are under Schema DB. Okay. So now I am creating two schemas. Schema 1, Schema 2. Create schema S1. Create schema S2. So execute this. CREA spelling mistakes. Spelling mistake. Okay, I'll do like this. So where is that database? Schema database. Open this. Go to security. Go to schemas. Right click. New schema. Schema name is S1. Script it out. Create schema. S1. Done. Create schema. S2. So how many schemas I created just now?
2 you have.
Oh, I created in master database. I should be in schema
Schema.
database. Okay. Let's create schema 2 and create schema 1. Okay. So now 2 users joined in my company. Who is the users? One user is L1. Create login. Login is L1 with password equal to 1234. Execute this. Use master. So in the same way, I am creating L2. So in the same way, I am creating user also. Schema DB. L1 is the user. For login, L1. So L2 is the user. For login, L2. Create user. So if you face any difficulty in understanding, let me know immediately. So what I am doing is I am creating a login. Login is L1. Another login is L2. So for login, I am creating a user under schema database. 2 logins, 2 users. That's it. So open this, refresh, go to security, users. So we have L1 and L2. What I will do is I'll change the owners of schemas. So we have 2 schemas, right? S1, S2. For S1, who is the owner? By default, DBO was the owner. Now I'll make him L1 as a user for S1. Okay. So we have another schema that is S2. For S2, I'll make L2 as a owner. Login 1. Does this login has any permissions at instance level?
No.
Does this login has any permissions at database level?
Database
No, right?
also not there.
No, because we have just created user. He doesn't have any permissions. So database instance level, he cannot do anything. Database level, he cannot do anything. But schema level, he is the sys user, super user. L1 is super user under S1 schema because he is the owner of the schema.
Huh.
L2 is super user under S2 schema because he is the owner. I'll show you how. Let me create 2 tables. So after starting using ChatGPT, our work came very simpler, easier. Okay. From here, copy it to here. So earlier we were used to type all these commands. Now we can just copy. Copy, go to SSMS, go to this database. L1 employee, okay. S1, sorry. S1 is the schema. S2 is the schema. So I'm creating tables. Whenever you create table, you need to mention schema name. If you don't mention anything, it will go to DBA. Execute this. Now schema DB refresh. Go to tables. You can see the list S1 schema, S2 schema. So L1 is the user, right? Let me enter into with L1 user. So SQL authentication, L1 user. What is the password? 1234. Connect. Go to databases. Go to schema DB. Go to tables. So L1, does L1 have any permission at instance level and database level? No, right? Even though he doesn't have any permission, he can still see the table because he is the owner of that schema.
Right.
L1. Okay. So if he want to create a new table, he cannot create. But if anybody created a table, he can use it because he is the owner. Let me show you.
He can just see it.
He can just see it and he can delete it. He can modify it. Anything he can do it, but he cannot create table. See, I am creating another table, employee one. Okay. Execute. Create table permission denied because I don't have any permission. Okay, this is master database. See this. So L1 cannot create any table, but L1 can see this table. That is one thing. Okay. And he can grant access to this table to any other user also. So how many tables are there under schema database?
Well,
Two tables. Let me open that.
Yeah.
So databases, where are the, okay, not this is another instance, right? Let me open this. So under schema database, how many tables are there? Two tables. But L1 can see only one table. Why?
Because he's the owner of that specific schema.
He is the owner of only specific schema. So he cannot see S2 schema tables. Okay. So in the same way, let me enter into L2 login. 1, 2, 3, 4. Click on connect. Go to database. Go to schema DB. Go to tables. He can see only which table? Department table. He cannot see employee table because he is the owner of S2 schema.
Right.
But now, even though I don't have any permissions on this database, I can grant permissions to my specific schema to other user. So L2 itself doesn't contain any permissions, even though he doesn't have any permissions. Since he is the owner of the schema, he can grant permissions to any user on its own schema. So if you want to provide permissions on schema level, so this is the syntax. Schema level. Now let's see this. So I am under L2, right? L1. Okay. So let me go to L2. Where is it? This is L2. Let me go to here. Okay, this is L2. So grant alter on, not alter. I'll select. Grant select on schema to whom I am under L2, right? So I'll give L1. Grant select on schema L2. Schema L2 on to L1. So schema is S2, sorry, schema is S2. So on S2 schema, I am providing permission to login 1. Okay, let me do that. Can't find the L. Okay, can't find L1 because it doesn't have permission. Just a minute. I am under master database. Let me change this. Click on execute. Done. Now go to L1 login. So since L2 has provided you permissions, you can see other table also. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So one login may be. I'll repeat it. So I'll do it vice versa. So who logged in here? Who
L2.
log in here? L2. Can L2 see all tables in the schema database?
Mhm.
No. So you can
No.
see only S2 schema
Yes.
data tables. Okay. So this L2 user wants to see other table also. Whatever inside S1 schema, he wants to see the tables inside S1 schema. Okay. So now L2 user requested L1. Hey L1, I want to see the tables under your schema. So please provide permissions to your schema. He requested L1. Now L1, what L1 will do is L1 grant permission to L2. He himself doesn't have any permissions, but he can grant permissions because he is the owner of that schema. Let me grant permission. So grant select on schema. So what is the syntax? On schema. So 2 colons. So which schema? On S1. To whom? L2. Is it clear?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now let me execute this. I executed this. So L1 doesn't contain any permissions, doesn't have any permissions. Still, he can give permissions to anybody because he is the owner of S1 schema. Owners can do anything. Okay. So now go to L2 schema, refresh this. L2 can see S1 tables. Is it clear?
Yes.
So a login might be dummy at instance level, might be dummy at database level, but if the login is the owner of any schema, the login is sysadmin. Login behaves like sysadmin of that schema. He cannot create tables, but if there are any tables, he's the owner of everything. He can do anything. If he want, he can delete also. Okay, so this is L2, right? Let me delete this. I deleted this. Is it clear? I'll show you the power of schema. So who is Hari? Hari is sysadmin, right?
Here.
Hari can do anything, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me go to user in this database. Which database? Go to schema database. So under schema database, go to security. So go to users. So I want to delete this user, L1. Let me delete this. Click on OK. What happened? What is the error? The database principal. Database principal means what? Database principal means what? User. Database principal means user here. So the database principal owns a schema. Since it is owns a schema, even though you are sysadmin, you cannot drop this user. So you are very powerful person. If you own if you are tenant of a house, anybody can tell you, go from this house, you vacate this house. But if you are owner of that house, if somebody wants to vacate from that house, what they can do? They want first they should buy your house. Then only they can arrange vacation. Yeah, they can vacate from your house. Okay. So in the same way, if sysadmin or any other login wants to delete this user, first he needs to change the ownership of the schema. If I want to delete L1, don't directly delete this L1. So go to schemas, owned schemas, change this schema. For example, go to schemas, S1 schema, right? Who is the owner here? L1. So this instead of L1, you change the ownership. You buy that schema. Okay. For example, I am changing to under DBO. Click on OK. Click on OK. Click on OK. So now the owner of S1 changed. Now go and kick out this L1. That's it. You can delete easily. Try to delete L2. You cannot delete. What is the problem here? Error here? L2 also owns a schema. Okay. So sometimes you get this type of error. Whenever you are deleting a login, whenever you are deleting a this user, so you cannot drop that login or user. At the time, what you can do? You simply go to the schema, check the schema, owned schema. What is the owned schema here? S2, right? Go to S2, simply change the ownership. So I'll change by default user is DBO. So that is why by default schema is DBO. I'll change ownership to L2 to DBO. Now I can go to this user. I can simply delete this. Is it deleted?
Yes, sir.
So this is the way how you can delete a user. Okay. So who is owner of schema? That is about this, how to drop users who owned schemas. We explained this. Now come to permissions. If you want to, same story. So first picture, if you remember this, so everything applies under each level. Instance level we have seen, database level we have seen. Now let's come to schema level. Under schema level also only these 5, grant, with grant, any, revoke, cascade. So what are the permissions you can provide? Let me go to this one. S1 is a schema, right? Open this. Schema level to user. Okay. Permissions. So instead of this, let me create a user here. Create user. User is L1 for login. L1. Done. So you refresh this. Go to this user. Okay. Now, so under securables, instead of databases, we will go to schemas. Schema is also a securable, right? This is schema. Instead of database, we choose schema. Click on OK. So what are the schemas available? S1 and S2. So click S1. So under S1, what are the permissions you want to provide? Schema level. For example, I want to provide insert permissions. So if I grant insert permission, whatever the table reside in under this schema, in all tables, I can insert anything. Select, okay, with grant, then I update, script it out, click on OK. And let me go to one more time here. So under this schema, so I'll revoke insert and okay, click on OK. So these are the permissions. Schema level. Grant select on schema. Which schema? S1 schema. To whom you are giving permissions? L1. Grant select on schema S1 to L1 with grant option. What is the difference between with grant and normal? So L1 also, yeah, if you provide with grant option, the subsequent user also can provide same permission to another user. Okay, then, so how to use deny? Deny select on schema S1 to L1. Then how to revoke? Revoke select on schema. So only thing you need to mention is here double colons. So earlier we were not using this double colons. Now you need to mention 2 colons. Then schema name 2. Which login? This login name. This is not required. So on cascade also, you know how to use cascade. So simply mention cascade. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
So practice all these permissions type, how to provide permissions and this. I'll explain. I'll give you some homework. Okay, this is schema level permissions. Now let's come to object level permissions. So now I'll tell you one more thing. Let me create a few tables. Today it is slow. Copy this. So database, which database? Schema database. Execute this. Unclosed. Something is missing here. Copy this. Done. So under schema database, we have multiple tables. So department table, employee table, project table, employee table. Okay. So these are the tables, right? Now I want to insert. So what is the data inside it? Okay. Now I want to insert sixth row in this employee table. Okay. How can I insert? I'll write insert statement, insert into table name employee, values, employee, right? Okay, values. So what are the values? Sixth row, sixth record, comma, name is Harry, comma, age is, I don't want to tell my age, so I'll type 25, and marketing, MKTG. So this is the thing. EMPLO by E. It is correct. So I entered this value, right? Let me check this. Execute. What happened? Sixth row I inserted, right?
Yes.
Why it is not showing here? What is the issue? Any guess? Okay, let me tell you.
Nope.
So we have two employee tables here. Okay, one employee table is under DBO schema, another employee is under S1 schema. If you don't mention anything here, it will by default go to DBO schema.
Okay.
Let me open DBO schema. So you can find that sixth record here. Okay, if you want to really enter data into this table, so you need to mention schema also. Now, if you execute this, so it will be inserted into exactly this location. Is that clear?
Yes.
This is about schema level. Now, a new person joined in my company. New person is, so person name is, for example, let's assume he is Ravi. So Ravi want to access, there are how many tables in schema database?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. So now I want to give control to Ravi, not instance level, not database level. I want to let him see only project table. Okay. So instead of giving instance level permission, I don't give any permission instance level. I don't want to give him any permissions at database level. I don't want to give him permissions at schema level also. I just want him to give permission for only single object, that is table, project table. So for this purpose, we can grant object level permissions. How can we grant that? So simply go to that login. So let me create a login, create login, Ravi with password equal to 1234. Execute this. Then come to create user. User is Ravi for password for login, Ravi. So I am under schema database. Execute this, done. So go to users, security, users. Refresh. I have Ravi, right? Go to Ravi, double click on this. Okay, I am showing you graphically also. I'll show you command wise also. So you want to provide permission for what? Only project table. So go to securables, search on securables, click on objects. So what are the objects you want to provide? Okay, tables. Click on tables, click on OK. So you can see all the tables. Go for project table, click on project table, provide select permission on this table. You can click on OK or you can script it out. See, this is the command for providing table permission to table level. Grant select on project. You can mention DBO or you cannot. You might not mention because DBO is by default. If you don't mention, automatically it will take DBO. So grant select on project to Ravi. Let me log in with Ravi first. Connect. SQL authentication. Ravi. Password is 1234. You can connect. Go to database. Go to schema database. Go to tables. Can he see any tables inside it?
No.
Okay. So how many tables are there inside schema database?
4.
4 tables, right?
Mhm.
Database is not here. 4 tables, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll give him permission, this permission. Let's see what happens. Execute this. Done. Go to Ravi. SchemaDB, refresh this. Go to tables. You can see only that project table.
Mhm.
So he can, whatever he can do with the project. So if we have given only select permission, if he wants to enter into any data into this table, so edit this.
He can't.
So he cannot enter into any data because he doesn't have insert permission.
Well,
The data in row was not committed. Click on OK. So you cannot save this table because insert permission doesn't have. So we can control in this way, we can control object level permission, table level. Object means table here, and database schema level, and database level, and instance level. In real time, 90% of the companies don't provide any permissions on instance level or database level or
Mhm.
schema level. So 90%, they only provide you whatever the
Yeah.
permissions you want on that
Object level.
that object. If you want to control a table, just they will give you only table level permission. That's it. Otherwise, sometimes if you want to see all the tables inside database, they will give you database level select option. That's it. Select permission. So the best thing, the best management service under permissions granting is provide as least as you can grant. Provide permissions. Don't provide unnecessary permissions.
Mhm.
If you want to really save the environment for unauthorized use, for example, a developer joined in your company. Developer needs what? He just want to read the table. That's it. Provide select. That's it. If you want to insert any data, you need to get approval from his manager. Without approval, we don't provide any permission. So a developer came and he asked, hey, DBA, I want to see this project table. So then you granted him data reader and you granted him data writer. What is the use? Why you should grant data writer without asking, without approval? So you should not do like that. If he wants to read the data, you just provide select permission, not even data reader. You can just provide select permission. That's it. So this is about the management. Okay. So object level, same grant with the grant deny revoke cascade. I'll give you some homework on this later. Best practices, principle of least privilege. We just discussed this. Okay, role based. So instead of giving individual permissions like select and insert, so if you want select and insert, instead of giving select and insert, create a custom role with these the two permissions, role, select and insert. So now provide this role. So what best practice? What is the best practice is don't provide individual permissions. So group club 2 to 3 multiple permissions to a role and grant roles, role-based access control. So use schema level permissions if it is necessary. Okay, separate environments have separate permissions. Production level same user may contain in dev environment, he may contain all permissions, but in production environment, he doesn't have any all permissions, only limited permissions. So environment wise, you can change the list of permissions. Do regular audits and maintain whenever you are providing any permission, maintain a document. Avoid any unless it is necessary. These are the best practices. So now we have multiple topics: linked server, orphan user, contained database, and impersonation, application users. So these 4-5 topics we will cover tomorrow. Let me stop from here.